Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Hannah Burr. Good afternoon, Hannah.
Good afternoon. This is a weird time for us to do this.
Yeah, you can see like the reflection in my posters. It's actually daytime.
Have a good backlight.
That's right? Yeah, normally we do this at night, but you've been traveling.
Yes.
So we are taking as much, finding the best time we can to get this knocked out because we need to talk about Andor, episode 7. So we'll do that mainly for this episode. Before then, though, let's, of course, keep talking about and thanking our patrons. So thank you for staying with us on that. There are changes. Now, I mentioned that last time. So there are changes to the tiers now. If you guys go there, I know I've had a couple of you guys already mention that they've seen that. So, it's going to be more exclusive content just for patron. We're not really, all this. I did find that the whole, really early release thing, I don't think that works anymore. So we're just going to do. This show obviously is going to be on all the Patreon, all the podcast feeds, and then you're going to get some of our bonus shows on the feed, but you're going to get all of them on YouTube, and then you're going to get all different video content that's on Patreon. So I want to make sure you guys get what you pay for in a sense. So I did do a quick, one of the first things I did, Hannah, I did a quick reaction video to this episode.
Oh, did you?
Just for Patreon. Just a little 5 to 10 minute thing, just explaining my first reactions to it. So now that I've had a couple days to digest it and kind of let it work through my mind a little bit. And then of course I got you to feed off of some questions and things. So we'll get into that. But anyway, thank you, patrons, as always, especially our master patrons that keep contributing and helping support the show. Hey, hello.
Allie, it's a squirrel. It's a squirrel. Please stop.
My dogs are out there running around too, chasing squirrels.
Come back. Come here.
So Andor, the only news I wanted to kind of touch on, and I believe we didn't talk about this the last episode. I think it came out afterwards, but Tony Gilroy was in an interview. He's talked about the rest of the season's format. Did we talk about that? I don't think we did.
I think we did. It was in threes, right? And then season 2 is going to be, because season 1 takes place over a longer time than season 2 will take place over, right?
Well, season 2 takes place over the last 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. But what he was saying was the last 6 episodes of this season, this episode 7 is kind of a standalone, and then you've got 8, 9, and 10 that are going to be kind of an arc, and then you're going to have like a 2-part finale with 11 and 12.
Oh no, we didn't talk about. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I kind of read and heard after we did our show. Right before this episode came out, which now that we've watched it, I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's kind of the format to look for. This was kind of just another setup for the next 3 episodes, and then we're going to get a 2-part finale. So that's kind of all the news really that I heard out there. So before we get in the episode, let's just run through, of course, release schedules for novels and comics. Novels, The High Republic is in full force. Phase 2 is out there now. You had Path of Deceit that came out early October. You've got Convergence coming out November 22nd. The Battle of Jeddah, the audio drama, January 3rd. Jedi Battle Scars, March 7th. And then High Republic Cataclysm, April 4th. High Republic Path of Vengeance, May 2nd, which actually finishes out Phase 2. And then, of course, the new book that was announced at New York Comic Con, Inquisitor, Rise of the Red Blade, is July 18th of 2023. So a long way from now, but that's going to be interesting from Delilah S. Dawson. And then comics coming up next week. You got Dr. Aphra 25, and then November 2nd, Star Wars 29 and Bounty Hunters 28. And actually, and Mandalorian number 5, continuing that the comic version of season 1. Okay, so let's go right into it. This is going to be a kind of a quicker episode, I feel like. All right, Hannah, I don't know how many times you were able to watch it, but overall impression and thoughts, just overall of Andor episode 7 called Announcement.
So with this episode, personally for me, now that you've said like this is kind of its own standalone thing, it makes so much sense because this episode is, I feel like the midpoint of season 1. This is the big change. This is going to cause, this is going to probably cause Cassian to have a huge shift in what he wants to do. It's a huge shift in Mon's role in the rebellion. So, is it my favorite episode? No, but I think it's because I was already in the mindset of 3 episodes is one story. 3 episodes is one story. So in this, it was like, okay, how are 2 and 3 going to follow this? But now that you said like they said, oh no, this is by itself. It makes a lot more sense. There's one part that was a little confusing for me, but you and I can talk about that later. What are your thoughts on that? On the episode? On the episode,
this is like probably one of my favorites, to be honest. And honestly, I get it that the Andor stuff is kind of, just kind of the repercussions of what happened at Aldhani, but the Mothma stuff really pulled me in. That's what I was really interested in. She is just so good. Genevieve O'Reilly, who plays her, is, I keep kind of mentioning it to people in the hallways whenever we were talking about it this week, that, she just, she's doing a great job acting completely terrified of everything that's going around her, but still putting on that persona of, like, I'm not involved kind of thing. So she's doing a hell of a job. And I think that's really, those scenes have really drew me in this episode. I will say, and I'll get to it here in a minute, but I will say it didn't really end the way, I didn't really like too much about how it ended. So, but we'll talk about that. But you wanted to, you did bring up some of the Mothma stuff.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. She's doing a great job and I'm absolutely loving this character and the actress's work. But to me, it's just like at one point in the episode, she's like, I didn't want this. I didn't want violence. I didn't want what happened in Aldhani. I did not want any of this. But then later on at a political party, like event, dinner, soiree type of thing, she was talking and she's saying, I put on a good face, but I am part of the rebellion. And I'm like, I thought you didn't want to be associated with the violence happening. Or was there like a shift that I just missed?
Well, I think what's happening. Well, for one, I don't think she restrained from telling Tay. I think is the guy she was talking to. She didn't fully say it out loud that I am funding the rebellion, because you remember she was like, I'm not. It's better you don't know what I'm doing. But obviously, he insinuated that he had no love for the Empire. Yeah. So that's why she kind of confided in him. But I think what's happening is Luthen is being brought to us as literally possibly one, if not the person that started the rebellion. Because, he's talking about how they talked about building this network. And I'm assuming it's network of cells, rebel cells, basically. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Mothma wasn't, I think maybe to her, it was more or less just kind of like political what do you call it? Political support for a change. That's kind of what I think that she was thinking. But of course, Luthen is not thinking that. He's thinking of fighting. And obviously I think that has to be the case because, we already know Mothma is against Saw Gerrera's tactics of rebellion, right?
Yes.
So in that conversation, when Luthen's like basically saying, yes, it was mean, we've got to change how we do things now. But he did say the network's there. Like, we already have the network. Now we need money to support that network and do the things we need to do to fight back. And I think right now that's all she's thinking is like, okay, I will get money and I'll just be the monetary person and not really be part of that. And still try to fight it politically. That's how I interpreted it.
Okay. And maybe I need to watch it one more time, but that confused, but that makes total sense. Because I mean, even in the deleted scene of Revenge of the Sith, it was very much a political idea. Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. I think we talked about last time how we think Luthen's going to die and Mon Mothma's going to have to take up that torch. Right. Because it is becoming, to me, anyway, it's becoming more apparent that Luthen has been the one that everybody is rallying behind, that's taking orders from. And at some point, it does seem like it's going to catch up with him. He's trying to make sure there's no loose ends out there, like Andor now. Yep. And it sounded like with that conversation with Vel and, oh God, what's her name? His assistant. But it sounded like that conversation was about how it was actually fortunate that all those people died because we were probably gonna have to kill them anyway. Yeah, that when they were talking about that, I'm like, but what? Yes. What? That's not good. That's not good. Yeah, you should be rooting for that. I know. I think so it is kind of it is feeling like more of a. I mean, it's dirty in a sense, it's a dirty rebellion. It's he's Clea is her name anyway. Clea, the girl. Yeah, it feels like it's it's a messy way, which honestly doesn't seem all that removed from what Saul does. I was just about to say, for a group that doesn't necessarily agree with the way that Saul does something, that scene made me go, hi, Pot, that's Kettle. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how they're going to address the two differences. Maybe this is part of it. Maybe this is Luthen. Obviously Saul is going to be in this. We're going to see Saul. I'm assuming he's going to come in probably these next 3 episodes. But maybe Luthen is maybe he's actually ultimately taking his direction from Saul. Obviously he doesn't mind fighting back. He doesn't mind killing. And that's the way Saul does it. So they are the ones possibly working together more so, and then just getting the funding from Mon, and then maybe she comes to not agree with that method, and I don't know, maybe she doesn't fund it anymore. I don't know. It's that's where I'm very interested in how this is all going to kind of play out with the political side versus the warfare side. 1,000,000%. It's gonna merge at some point, and it'll be interesting to see when it does. Also, I love the fact that Marva, is like a huge supporter of the rebellion, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna hit Cass right there. I know. Oh, but I love that. I love that we get to see another perspective of someone outside of the rebellion who's not actively a part of it, essentially saying, even though Cassian was like, it was just a robbery. And she's like, no, it was them fighting back. And that does things to people, people see that.
Yes.
And more people will start acting accordingly.
Yeah, I thought she was going to reveal that she was the one that told Luthen all about Cassian.
I thought that too.
Because we still don't know who that person is.
We have no idea. I think the thing is, though, is that with her, and this is what I like it so much, is before she kind of didn't care about the rebellion, but we saw her when the troopers came in after Cassian or Andor left.
Right.
Her opinion changed. And I don't think we see a lot of that, honestly. A lot of people who were like, I don't care. And then all of a sudden they're for the cause, but they're not actually actively in the cause. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does.
So,
yeah.
But it'll be interesting to figure out how Luthen found out about.
Yes, I'm very interested in that. It's not Bix. And then so Marva is kind of the only one that knows everything about him. Unless, again, maybe it could be, I guess. I think there's those things where they're trying to fool you, in my opinion, is when she says, don't look for your sister. I think her sister is going to play into it somehow. I think his sister is going to be in it somehow. Yeah. So maybe it's her, but I don't know how she would know all about him. Is
his sister in the Empire?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who she could be. But I think she's going to play in it somehow. She's got to play in it somehow. Yep.
She is.
Another thing is the Imperial side. We obviously saw a big change in the ISB's responsibilities, which completely makes sense to, the hardships that people face now. And now basically we're seeing the repercussions of this one attack, that it basically is going to trickle down throughout the entire galaxy, with the ISB given more authority by Palpatine.
Yeah.
Of course, Yularen, if everybody knows, Colonel, I think it's Colonel Yularen at this point. But he has always been known as the head of the ISB, so he finally makes a cameo, a live action again. He's got one scene. I don't know if everybody. Do you know who Yularen is, right? Yeah. He's got one scene in A New Hope years ago, obviously. But then he's been featured heavily in the Clone Wars, a little bit in Rebels, and now we see him in her live action. So that was pretty cool to see.
Oh, yeah.
And I think obviously we're going to see Deidre have a bigger role now in the series, these next 3 episodes. So what do you think let's right before that. So what about Andor now? Like, what do you think about his story and how he ended up in this episode?
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, there needed to be a coming to Jesus moment. We need that for him. And I thought it was going to be Marva talking to him and then him kind of thinking about it and then deciding to join. I did not expect the way the episode ended. Didn't expect it at all, but it also shows more of the injustice happening.
Yes.
In the Empire. And it's complete another bullcrap what they're doing. I mean, anybody can see that. So I think it's nice that we're able to see it, to see how bad it really is getting. Especially for those who aren't the wealthy.
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing to think that they can. I mean, they're just sitting there sentencing people without any evidence, without any trial. It's like
it's appalling.
You did this, so you get this, and that's kind of why I was like, I kind of felt like it was a little bit of a cheaper way to get him caught. You know what I mean? Like because he truly wasn't doing anything. Like, he was literally walking away. Now, if he somehow was kind of help, I get it though. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, look, anybody now is a target. You look the wrong way, you're possibly going to get 6 years in prison. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. So it's just amazing. I get it's just a little confusing that on a planet like this, where it looks like it's a tourist attraction, it's a vacation spot, that there were these people running from I don't know what, and they were assuming that they maybe are either part of a rebellion or they're breaking the law somehow. And the way they were kind of spitting out allegations, it wasn't really rebellious. It was just they were doing stuff that they weren't supposed to be doing.
I think it's showing that the Empire is, and remember, this is what Luthen said. He wants them to overreact.
Yes.
By overreacting, you're going to create more enemies. So I think this is just showing that the Empire truly fell into their trap and they are overreacting way too much. Anything that even remotely looks like it could be related to the rebellion, you're gone.
That's true.
So for me, it didn't feel cheap. For me, it was like, oh, wow, Luthen's plan actually worked. They overreacted.
Yeah, it did. It did. But yeah, I don't know. It felt fast. It just felt like he literally was walking away. He literally was moved on. He was trying to just live out his life on the beach now. But then all of a sudden, just because other people were running.
And he happened to be sweaty.
He happened to be, I mean, yeah, it's like, so yeah, it's unfortunate, but, because I figured he would actually get caught. I figured he would actually get caught because he got identified as the guy that robbed Aldhani.
Yeah. I actually thought for a moment that KX unit.
Like it's a K unit. Yeah.
Yeah. The K unit would have scanned him and he was like,
yeah, I know. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think K2 though. I think he's coming in the next season.
When I first saw that droid, I was like, K2?
Yeah, I know.
Is that you? K2 is my favorite part of Rogue One.
Rogue One? Oh, okay.
My favorite.
He's very good. He's very good at that. Okay. So anyway, last thing then, what do you think the next 3 episodes? It's apparently the next 3 episodes in arc. Where do you think this goes? Just kind of.
I have no idea. I think this is finally when Cassian actually deeply considers joining the rebellion.
What?
I don't know if you can. There's a car alarm going off in the back.
I think I can barely hear it.
Okay, good microphone. So. I don't know. I think we might see Saul might be the one who breaks him out. We know we see Saul. Mm-hmm. So maybe Saul breaks him out. Maybe this tropical beach happens to be on the forest planet where Saul is. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I think though, eventually Luthen's going to die. Mon's going to end up heading everything. And she's going to not embrace the fact that there's violence involved, but realize that it has to be involved, unfortunately. Yeah. And then I think Cassian, we all know how that part ends. He's going to join. It's just going to be interesting to see how we get from him being in prison to him being part of the rebellion. What about you?
Yeah, I think that, I do think that I think that Saul Guerrero is going to get involved these next 3 episodes. I think that's the only way. I think Luthen is going to somehow realize or find out that Cassian is captured because obviously they're trying to find him. And I think he's going to get, I think he has to get Saul involved to break him out. And that's when he's going to have to kind of make that decision. Either I'm going to kill you or you join us kind of thing, I guess.
Oh, you think it's going to come down to a death threat?
Maybe. I don't think it'll have to, because I think because of what happens to Cassian in this episode, getting captured like that, I think he knows he's got to have a price on his head, because they're going to figure out that he was the one at Aldhani. Yeah. And because, Cyril, he's still out there. He's going to somehow get involved.
Oh yeah.
With the ISB, with Deidre, I think. Mm-hmm. So I think you're going to see a heightened response from the Empire in these next 3 episodes. And then you're going to get Saul involved in trying to get him out. And that's probably going to be these next 3 episodes, is trying to break him out. And then the last 2 episodes is going to be however they look to conclude this thing, which is probably Cassian fully becoming part of the rebellion. And
Interesting.
Mothma agreeing to, continue funding it. And I do think it's possible Luthen dies by the end of this season. And kind of Mothma picks it up for the next season.
Do you think we're ever going to see Palpatine?
I hope so.
That'd be awesome.
In fact, I think it would be awesome. I don't know if they'd do it. I think it'd be awesome if Palpatine and Mothma had a scene together.
I want that so bad.
So bad.
I want to see Palpatine, Mothma, and maybe even throw Luthen in there at the end.
Yeah. Oh, man. That
would be...
Yeah, because Palpatine, again, the Senate is still alive. It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't show up as much to the Senate, deliberations as much as people may think, because, the bureaucrats and Masameda, they're kind of running the Senate in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Palpatine's doesn't show himself all that much. So it would be, when he does, it kind of means something. It kind of matters more. So
absolutely,
it would really be interesting to have him call upon Mothma and have a sit down about this rebellion and about, her having support from her and other constituents that, that we're going to shoot down this rebellion kind of thing, not knowing that she's fully involved in actually. So that would be pretty intimidating. And her, being the great actress that she is, being able to hide that fear, and still.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I want to see her do that
totally.
Scene, because it's like she can handle it. It won't come off cheesy. It won't come off fake. It'll come off probably, as one of the most genuine acting moments in Star Wars history, to be honest.
Agreed. Can't wait for that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Keep watching Andor, people.
Keep watching Andor. Yeah, this has been pretty awesome. Only 5 more episodes left.
Whew.
So, we'll be back next week. Talk about episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, tune into the Mandalore podcast early next week when me and Martin deep dive more into episode 7 here. I don't know, there's going to be a lot to talk about. I'm sure he finds ways to talk about all kinds of stuff, but
it really is fantastic.
It's deep dive, but things like this where it's like, there's a lot of just conversation. It's hard to kind of find some stuff, but he does a hell of a job finding stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, go to YouTube if you want to get further shows of ours, Council Sessions, Beyond the Saga, Masters of the Order, Dark Knowledge. We've got a couple of those in the works right now. So, and of course, supporting the show on Patreon, patreon.com/Inside the Force. Thank you, everybody, for checking us out and being with us on there. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you so very much.
I know you're about to head back out of town.
Yep.
So enjoy yourself.
Will do. It's vacation time.
Yeah. See you when you get back. And we'll talk about Andor episode 8 next week.
Sounds fantastic.
All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you. May the Force be with you.